And then should we do like a clap to sync it easily? All right. 1, 2, 3.
That was too loud.
1, 2.
You broke all the mics.
3. And
All right.
up.
You got too much on your side.
Okay.
We should just go right into it.
Yeah, on 3 we just drop it and
Yeah.
then go.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Only John Connor.
That's not going right into it.
No, I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Okay. Wait. All right. Rogue One, a Star Wars story. It's not Star Wars Rogue One. I was a little disappointed in the naming architecture. I kind of felt like Star Wars Rogue One, just without a number.
Yeah.
Would have been nice. A Star Wars story makes it feel separated,
Yeah.
which it should be in a way,
Yeah.
but I don't want it to be like not Star Wars.
Exactly. Because you should be able to, and it seems like the way they filmed it, they'd want you to be able to watch it in between episode 3 and episode 4. It bridges the gap. It bridges.
It's fill-in for people that just didn't understand.
People that were like, what?
Miracle on 34th Street.
Shrek 2?
This is the movie that sets up how the rebels got the plans for the original Death Star.
Yes.
So it takes place right between 3 and 4.
And it stands on its own. It doesn't... It comes out of 3 and it goes into 4, but it's not... It doesn't start on like a cliffhanger and end on a cliffhanger.
Right.
You don't need to watch any other movies than this, really, to get the full story of this film.
Yeah.
And I felt they succeeded in that aspect fairly well. Mm-hmm. They led out of 3 and they led into 4 without making it a movie that really you have to watch the next one in order to get the story. All the characters have an arc.
Everybody knows. I feel like if you have watched movies, you've seen Star Wars.
Yeah.
If you haven't, that's just weird.
It is weird.
If you've seen episode 4, then you'll understand everything about this movie.
Yes, you'll know what's going on. Yes, I wouldn't advise, if you've never seen a Star Wars movie, you probably shouldn't start with this one. But still, the story was self-contained. And
yeah. This was a good film.
It was a good film.
I enjoyed it.
We both enjoyed it. We talked about it afterward. Last, episode 7, we both had issues with. We both also enjoyed. But there were some problems with it.
Me. You.
The only thing that did bother me is the fact that they did the Death Star again.
Yes.
The other analogs were fine with me.
Yes.
The thing that did bother me is the fact that Rey develops her powers instantly
Yes.
from not even knowing that the Force is real.
Rey is way too powerful, way too fast.
And then Kylo Ren is completely useless. I mean, you see how powerful he is. He can stop a laser bolt in midair, which we've never seen before.
But then he can't even defeat an untrained Rey.
Right.
For some reason.
Or even Finn.
Easily, yeah. He has to fight Finn for a second.
Not many glaring problems with this one.
Rogue One was fairly tight.
Yeah.
There were really my biggest beef with the film. The only thing I can knock it for is that the main character I felt was underdeveloped. But I understand why that may have happened, because they were introducing a lot of new characters. They needed a lot of time to, to make all these characters fleshed out and do justice to characters that were already introduced in other, Star Wars things. Like Saw Gerrera, he's in Clone Wars, the show, so they had to sort of show the development of his character all in a very brief period of time, and that all took away from her. So anyway, I think Rey, for all of her faults in episode 7, we did get to see more development and more of her personality.
Yeah.
Whereas this character, she gave a couple speeches, but other than that, you didn't really get to know her that well.
Yeah.
And so at the points where it should have been the most emotionally moving, which you could tell they wanted, it was less powerful than it could have been for me.
Like the classic moment where this character that no one believes, she's giving a speech to the people that she's about to lead, when she's really just some girl that got mixed up in this stuff, and she's not a leader.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand if the main guy, the guy that is a rebel and has been leading them, if he was the one to give this speech kind of in the stead of her.
Yes. It would have made more sense. It felt forced. It felt like they were forcing her to be the main character when she really wasn't supposed to be.
Right. So the characters. Main character,
we got Jyn
Erso. She's just a girl, down on her luck. She's bold. She's beautiful.
She's
misunderstood.
She is all of those
Actually,
things.
no, they understand her. They just don't like her.
True, yes.
They don't trust her.
I don't think she understands herself.
It's a story of redemption.
It's a story of redemption, but not for her. See, that's the problem. It could have been a story of redemption, but instead it's like a subplot of redemption with a main plot of a girl and her dad, a girl who loved her dad. She loves her dad.
Okay, back to characters. Second character, the guy that drives the truck in the terminal.
Hey.
The food truck guy.
Great character.
He plays the same character in this film. He's a little more handy with a gun.
Which one are we talking about?
The guy.
The guy?
The guy.
The captain?
You never seen The Terminal?
No.
Have you never seen The Terminal?
What is The Terminal?
With Tom Hanks.
Dude, I've
The
never...
Terminal.
Is it a airplane movie?
Takes place in an airplane terminal.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I haven't seen this movie. The captain? The guy that played the captain is in it?
Yeah.
Oh.
He drives a food truck.
Oh. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, he was reprising his role as food truck guy. Yeah, he was good. And his character arc I thought was the most interesting of any ones in the film, because he had sort of a dark side. He had demons he was wrestling with. He wanted to do the right thing, but he was willing to go too far to do it.
When you go into the movie, you know, if you've seen episode 4, you know that all of these characters have to die.
They had to die.
Yeah.
And
I mean, no spoilers, but you have to know that.
Yeah. Well, we'll put up a spoiler alert right before we say this. So
But
you
it's
will have
not a
already seen it.
spoiler. They know it.
Yeah, you know. So they all die.
So we got Jen,
Jin,
Jimmy.
like gin and tonic.
Right. We got food truck guy.
Captain Olimar.
We got Donnie Yen.
Donnie Yen is blind. So when you see him, he's
like an almost Jedi.
Yeah, he's an almost Jedi. He doesn't have a lightsaber, he's got a staff instead, which was pretty sweet, actually. Yeah, there were no lightsabers in this movie other than... Spoiler.
Well, now that's a spoiler. Donnie Yen had a friend. Basically, it's Junkrat and Roadhog.
It is like Junkrat and Roadhog, yes. Donnie Yen is like a blind Zen version of Junkrat. Yes.
So the other guy is the firepower. He's Roadhog. You're not McCree.
And it's high noon. In the trailer, they show like him fighting, and I was worried it was going to be a little bit too kung fu-ish, I guess. But it was a good amount.
Yeah.
It was nice.
We didn't get as much Mads Mikkelsen as I was hoping for. He was not in the film that much. He was a good guy. Then he was a bad guy. Then he was a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then something happens to him in the film.
His acting was really nice.
The limited acting.
Yeah. He wasn't in it a lot, but the acting was good. His delivery was good. He got the character across in the short time that he had.
Yeah.
And yeah, his character sort of makes the whole story make sense, and it sheds light onto episode 4 and the plot, and sort of makes the whole thing a little more coherent from episode 3 to episode 4.
Yeah. The original films and even the new trilogy have a sort of feeling that I think only Star Wars has.
Yeah.
With the editing and the screen wipes and transitions and stuff. And I don't think they're trying to do that anymore.
Yeah. Which is both good and bad. Not bad. It is different, and yes, it's very noticeably different. The editing is completely different. It's much more J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
Like, it's much more like Star Trek.
Yeah.
In those...
There really isn't a style anymore. It's just another
editing.
movie.
The original trilogy, there's a lot of scenes, too, where they're, like, following people as they're walking. There really wasn't any of that.
Yeah.
Like, the editing is much more close up in this movie, and I don't remember if it was that way in episode 7. But in this movie, I noticed, like, in the original trilogy, I feel like the shots show a lot more. Like, they're a lot more, like, picturesque, whereas this was a lot more in the face of the characters, which is neither good nor bad, but it is definitely it gives a different feel to the movie.
Yeah.
It's a lot more about the acting.
I would be fine with it if they did this style, just typical movie style, for the side stories.
Yes.
But I would love it if the main films...
They kept it feeling like Star Wars.
Because Lucas, I think it was Lucas that kept that feeling going.
Yeah.
It's his directing style, which, like, he's not a great director, but he knows how to direct Star Wars.
Yeah.
He just, like, got misguided, and then the content started suffering. But all of the movies still retained that Star Wars feel, which is why I still like them, even though the acting is bad and the story is iffy in places.
Yeah. I think I notice it in the writing especially too, which sort of influences the editing. The writing in this film, the characters have a lot less normal conversations. Like in Star Wars, there's a lot of lines, like one of my favorite lines from the original movie is,
"But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters."
like, it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
But it's cool because it's like...
It's a lot, it's relaxed.
Yeah, and it makes it feel like you're just watching, like, people going through, like, it's just normal for them to be in space in another galaxy with laser guns and droids.
Yeah.
Like, it's totally just another day.
Yeah. And then he goes to see Ben Kenobi.
Yeah.
And they just, like, sit down and talk for a while.
They just sit down and have a conversation, and it's like a normal conversation. Neither one of them is that intense about it, or giving a speech.
There's not much downtime.
It's much more like a play, like a live play.
Yeah, especially episodes 4 and 5 have downtime.
Yes.
In 4, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi, the
cantina.
In 5, we have Yoda. We have Yoda on. What's it called? What's the planet?
Dagobah.
Dagobah.
There we go.
Can't believe I forgot
Mud
that.
World.
Swampland.
It's hard to remember all these planet names.
There's so many.
It's a lot of planets.
They've
There were more planet names, and that was...
I felt like in Rogue One, they were putting the planet name up
Yeah.
every time they went there, because there were so many.
Yeah, it happened multiple times. Yeah.
You saw the same name like 3 times.
They did it. Yeah, that was another thing that was not very Star Wars-ish. They did that cutting around. At the beginning of the film, I was a little worried because it flipped to a lot of different places at once.
Yeah.
It sort of showed you like what everyone was doing, and then it started focusing on Jin.
Yeah.
And then it continued. But I was worried it was going to be trying to juggle a bunch of different people, and that was
Well,
it was a little clunky.
Yeah.
The beginning was a little clunky.
Yeah.
It didn't like smooth in.
Like, I was interested, but there was too much going on.
Yeah, there was too much going on at the beginning. It should have been a little simpler. If it would have started with Jin and then just continued. But the scene that they showed with the male character, the captain, who I can't even remember his name now, it was really important for his whole character. It's kind of showed you who he was in a nutshell. So I guess it was necessary, but I think it could have been done better.
Yeah.
But anyway, all of that is to say, it's Star Wars, but not like you've seen it before. It's definitely different than the original trilogies. It's different than the prequels. It's different. This one was different than Episode 7 even. Hopefully, they can bring out the aspects that were good about Episode 7 and about this movie in Episode 8.
Original story.
Yeah.
Good characters. Good new characters.
New characters. Focus on the new characters. That was very refreshing. So that was another thing that was less enjoyable for me in Episode 7 was seeing the old characters. Seeing Chewbacca and Han Solo was fine, but then when they brought Carrie Fisher back as Leia...
Han Solo and Carrie Fisher were just too old.
Yeah.
It would have been great if they were just like the really old,
yeah,
like wise people that
but
they
were
went
too
to consult.
old to be the same character that they were.
Right.
It was
And
weird.
Han Solo was identical. He
Yeah.
had the same outfit. He's looking for the Millennium Falcon so he can go hustle some more people.
Yeah.
I want to see the other Knights of Ren. I wonder if there are any other cool ones.
I'm one of them. No, so let's talk about the special effects, because those were also different than Episode 7, but in the same vein.
Yeah.
And in general, I give them a thumbs up. Some practical
Yeah,
effects.
K2,
Yes.
he was all CG, I think.
Yeah.
At least I think I read that somewhere. There were moments that were blatant CG. Like a lot of the parts with the Admiral Akbar brothers.
Yes. Yeah, they had some of those aliens, which is weird because the Admiral Akbar thing from the 80s was even pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, his mouth doesn't move to make words, I guess, which
Yeah.
is kind of weird, but neither did the CG one in this movie,
Yeah.
so I don't know what the point was.
I think maybe a couple of those were practical.
Yeah,
Like the last time we saw the main one, it looked pretty real.
could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't tell.
There is at the end a secret
Spoiler.
that we won't spoil, but it is perfect, like perfect CG.
Yeah, it's really good CG. They did do a little funny thing too during one of the battle scenes, which was
joke.
I don't know if I liked it or not. It was okay.
Or were they just like recreating?
I mean, it looked like
It
the
did look
footage,
old.
and they were saying the same lines.
Yeah.
Up until like a few words.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looked like footage that was enhanced to look not as out of place.
Why would they do that?
Because technically those characters were alive at that point, so I guess it makes sense for them to be there.
But it's not the same event.
True, but I mean, I guess the rebellion. I don't know.
It really doesn't make sense.
It was weird. They could have just
Honestly,
made it
if they're gonna
easier.
do that, at least bring back pork chops.
Yeah, bring back Porkins. Porkins. Luke, you
Porkins.
turned off
I
your-
love that they actually did that. They actually named a overweight person Porkins.
Let's have a moment of silence for Porkins.
Got a problem here. Eject! I can hold it. Pull up! No, I'm all right.
Oh, that's a 10. Anyway. So,
Great, really great Vader scene.
really good Vader scene.
Best scene in the movie.
Vader, yes. Let's talk about the use of Vader. So, Vader was in the movie, for me, the perfect amount.
Yeah.
He was not a huge part of the movie. He had a couple important scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And voice acting by
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones, the original voice actor. It sounded good. He obviously sounds different. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
lot older, and you could tell. But
His cadence was a little too upbeat.
yeah, and his
felt
voice
like-
just sounds. I mean, it just sounds less strong. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, he was probably shouting in the original when he was recording it.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take her away.
It was hilarious and terrifying at the same
I'm
time.
happy they got him.
Him
because-
and not somebody trying to imitate him, because it would have been less real. It would have been noticeable.
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
Love James Earl Jones. He's a great guy. Really nice guy.
But yeah, so the first Vader scene was okay. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
It was great seeing Vader
Yes.
because Vader is hands down my favorite Star Wars character.
Yeah.
I love Vader. And he had that feeling, like he had the Vader feeling,
Yep.
other than the way that James Earl Jones delivered some of the lines.
Yeah.
But you can't really fault him for that. It's
Yeah.
35 years later,
Yeah.
so
It's hard.
it was good. But the second Vader scene, really good.
Yeah.
And it makes me want. I wish they would make like a Vader movie
Yeah.
where he's just like killing everyone.
Yeah. Showing him going, like, maybe in the period right before this one even, which I guess they wouldn't ever do. But, like, the part where he's hunting down the Jedi and everything that he did after Episode 3,
Yeah.
it would be interesting.
As long as we never see Anakin.
What did you think of the villain?
He was okay. He's the wormy guy from Batman. Pure evil. That guy is perfect at playing that character. I don't think he could play anyone else ever.
Yeah. He's good at it. And that's the kind of villain he was, too. I mean, he was just...
Yeah.
He wasn't, like, scary. He wasn't...
Nobody likes him.
He was just a scumbag. Darth Vader doesn't
Tarkin-
like him.
Tarkin hates him.
Grand Moff Tarkin is like, get out of my way.
Yeah.
Like, Tarkin is an intimidating villain because he's
yeah.
like, especially the actor they got to play him originally,
He knows
just,
what he's doing.
And his
I
delivery.
mean, he can. The guy can stand up to Vader.
Yeah, and he just sounds like incredibly smart. Like knows everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Super in charge.
This very, very cross, unpleasant gentleman, Grand Moff Tarkin.
So overall
rating, go. Out of 10 points.
I'd give it.
My rating of this film, I give it 1 point, 2 points for minus 1 point, 10 points, 11 points for Darth Vader.
So that leaves it up to me. So I would put episode 2 at 0.
Yeah, I would agree. As a standalone film, on the 10-point scale, it's probably an 8. As a Star Wars film, on the 5-point Star Wars scale, it's a 3. So, GG. Easy.
All right, that's it. All right, that's gonna need some editing.
Yeah.